from News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. This is Good Morning BT with Bo Thompson and Beth Troutman.
News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT. Tuesday, February 13th. Bo and Beth here in the Ty Boyd studio. Talking politics. This time tomorrow, we'll be welcoming presidential candidate Nikki Haley. Coming up on Thursday, we'll have candidate Don Brown for Congress in District number 8. And speaking of Congress, let's turn our sights on District number 6 and welcome back to the show a candidate in that competitive primary on the GOP side. Christian Castelli is back with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us early on a Tuesday morning. And I just wanted to let voters get to know the candidates that they could potentially be voting for when early voting starts later this week. Now, District 6 has been redrawn. It now includes Davie County, Rowan County, Davidson, a little bit of Forsyth, a little bit of Guilford, and a little bit of Cabarrus County. Now, you've been in the race for quite some time, but the former congressman from that district is now running once again. Mark Walker, who was in the race for governor, now is back in the race for the District 6 congressional seat. Let's talk about how you plan to get out of this primary. You're up against not only Mark Walker, but Bo Hines and 4 other candidates.
Yeah, sure. So, I think we have a very clear path to victory here in this primary to become the nominee again. I am the only veteran in the race in this 6-way primary. There are 800,000 veterans in the state of North Carolina, 80,000 in this district. 2 VA hospitals, a VA home. They are a huge constituency and voting group within the district. My candidacy appeals to veterans, sportsmen, first responders. And so we are definitely targeting those groups as our pathway to victory.
So to that point, we just watched, just a little bit before we had you on, the Senate pass this $95 billion foreign aid package. And several Republicans had to vote for this in order for it to pass. But you have made your military service so much a part of your campaign. This foreign aid package, especially with what's going on overseas, and we know that's the catalyst for it, but we also know that this does not have border legislation built into it. What are your thoughts on this? Because now we're going to see what happens in the U.S. House, and you want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to pass muster in the House. We've got the Speaker is not pleased with it. We have the presumptive nominee in President Trump speaking out against it. And I just don't think it's going to pass muster with the House, and it's going to be shot down in the House. There's a lot of problems with it. It passed in the Senate, but again, there's too many issues with it. It doesn't include border security, our number one issue. The number one complaint from Republicans across the board is we need to be concerned with our border before we start securing other people's borders and sending them money to do so.
Let's actually talk about that issue, because that has been a topic of conversation on Capitol Hill for the past several weeks, because the Senate came up with what they called a compromise bill that was put together by a Republican senator from Oklahoma, and then it was DOA on the House floor, and Mike Johnson made that incredibly clear. The conversation has certainly been about finger pointing more than anything, that Democrats are responsible, that Republicans are responsible. The question is, what are the solutions? I think all of us as voters and as taxpayers, we don't want to hear the blame game anymore. We actually want to hear what people are going to put forward when it comes to solutions and solving the problems.
Yeah, I think that particular bill was DOA due to the amnesty provisions in it. That's just not going to fly with what the people want and their elected representatives that are representing. Each congressman represents 750,000 people in their district. The overwhelming majority of the people are not happy with the situation at the border. And that clause in that bill, in particular with the amnesty, is just not cutting mustard with the people and their elected representatives. So to me, that's why that one was DOA.
So you're in a six-way battle for the GOP nomination right now. We just did a debate with District Number 8, and that's a six-way battle as well. And last time we talked to you on this show, I believe this is the second time we've had you on the show. At that particular time, I don't believe Mark Walker had gotten in the race. That's a pretty high-profile name. We had a similar situation in District Number 8 where you have Mark Harris as probably the most well-known name. You sort of alluded to this at the beginning, but the dynamics have changed in this very competitive primary. How do you break out? What's your plan between now and 3 weeks from today, which is Super Tuesday?
Yeah, so I feel like our campaign is definitely surging now. Mark had just announced the last time I was on your show. I had brought out the fact that Mark had signed the term limits pledge. Now he's going back on it. Mark had run unsuccessfully for Senate, governor, and now only after this district was redistricted from a D+9 to an R+11, a guaranteed win for a Republican, Mark and the other candidates jumped in. I have been in this race from the beginning. I was the nominee last cycle. We won on Election Day by 5,000 votes. We had a different outcome at the end of the evening due to the addition of the absentee ballots. I never stopped running for this district. I got in the fight when it was hard, and we have continued to fight for District 6 with steadfast resolve. So, I think it's a two-horse race. I think it's between Mark and I because of his name recognition. But I think we are surging, and we have a path to victory.
One thing that Beth and I always like to watch, we're both, media people our whole lives, and we're interested in how the message gets crafted. And we do this for any candidate that comes on, play the spots. You just released a new commercial for your campaign. I want to play a little bit of that here, if we
Honey,
can.
are you voting this year?
Christian Castelli for Congress.
Christian Castelli is a Green Beret and a decorated combat veteran.
Not a career politician or lobbyist.
Christian Castelli is a conservative.
The other candidates are weak.
Mark Walker walked away from us.
Bo Hines lives off a trust fund.
Addison McDowell is a lobbyist.
Christian Castelli will secure our border
Cut spending.
and defend our Constitution.
I'm Christian Castelli, and I approve this message.
So there you go. Hot off the presses right there, huh?
Yeah, well, it's all true. So that's the beauty of the truth. You never have to try and remember it because it never changes. You never have to remember the last story told. All those things are true. We had a lot of fun making that commercial. Again, I feel like I'm the best candidate in this field. I have more foreign policy and national security experience than all of the other candidates combined. And when you look at the global problems America faces, the national problems America faces, and you take a deep dive into each one of these candidates, their backgrounds and experience, I hope that the voters out there decide in this primary that I'm the guy that's most qualified for the job, the right guy with the right experience at the right time in America.
I want to go back. In that commercial, one of the women, one of the actors who was talking said that one of the things that she's excited about with supporting you is that you are going to secure the border. And I don't want to belabor the point, but I want to know, and I think our listeners probably want to know what your plan is, how you plan to do that.
Yeah, so I am actually the only candidate in this race that has experience working on a contested border, whether it was in Bosnia and Serbia, Afghanistan, Pakistan. I have worked on international contested borders. And the reason they were contested is they weren't properly defined with a wall or a fence. And then they weren't, they didn't have good policies that provided for the entry and egress of people that hope to transit those areas. And so I think we finish the wall. I think we do a comprehensive border immigration policy review, harkening back to my Inspector General days. We properly fund the Border Patrol and federal, state, and local law enforcement. I have to tell you, I love what Governor Abbott is doing down in Texas, and really support him in his efforts. Where the federal government is dropping the ball, he's taking the initiative and picking the ball up and running with it.
Christian Castelli running for Congress in this crowded D6 primary on the GOP side. We appreciate you coming on, and sure we'll talk to you. We have 3 weeks till the primary, so this is the ramp up. So we'll talk to you down the line, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you for having me.